Hello and welcome to the Wheel of Crime podcast. This podcast is ran by two ladies who play games, muggle profanities, and laugh way too often. Also, this podcast does cover topics of sensitive nature, and as such, listener discretion is advised.
Hi, welcome back to the Wheel of Crime podcast. My name is Jenn.
And my name is Emily, and welcome back to our very special episode for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, today, or yesterday, I guess, was St. Patrick's Day.
I don't know my numbers. I'm assuming so?
Yes.
Yes.
Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, so hopefully you guys all had a fabulous day, drank some green beer, did your thing.
Yup, hopefully nobody's been taken by any leprechauns, but I mean, we'll find out by the end of this episode for sure.
Yes. So today, Emily and I thought we would do something special because it was St. Patrick's Day after all.
Of course.
So for people who have been listening to our podcast for a while, we did an episode 3 years ago now when we first started doing this podcast, and it came with some iconic lines. You probably heard us reference bad Belfast bitches and leprechauns. Well, that came from our original St. Patrick's Day episode. So we've evolved. That audio is crap. We've moved on.
We're past it. That's 3 years old. We're past it now. We're on to doing even better things, we hope.
Yes, but we thought it might be fun to redo that episode for our old listeners and for any new ones we've gained since, so you do not have to subject yourself to that.
To the torture that is our original episodes. Yes.
Yes. So with that, let's commence. How was your week, Em?
About the same. With the restrictions being lifted, I went out and engaged in some really nice St. Patrick's Day related activities, you know, going on the annual leprechaun hunt to see if we can get a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Drank a lot of green beer and then turned green, as I do every year.
See, my favorite thing when we were in high school about St. Patrick's Day was going over to your house after, because your mom would always make fresh baked bread.
Green fresh baked bread.
Yes, so I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Such an angel. It would always be in the shape of a clover, not because she picked it to look that way. That's just how it looked like, but it was so festive.
It was so festive. Sad I missed out on that.
That's okay. I'll have to save you a green loaf next year, or a green slice of bread.
Next year, I'll just make it my priority to be in our hometown so that I can get myself a slice of bread.
A slice of that green bread.
Exactly.
Yeehaw! Yeah, exactly.
I do think about it every year, so I hope your mother knows that.
It's famous.
It truly is.
Mm-hmm. It really is. Thanks for stroking my toe so lovingly. That was awesome. Anyways, but yes, we are recording in person also for this episode, which is also a little different with not being able to see each other for pandemonium-related reasons. But it's fun. It's different. It's fancy.
It's weird because before the pandemic, we only recorded in person.
Mm-hmm.
And during the pandemic, we had been kind of on a bit of a hiatus, and then decided that we were going to start recording again, but started recording virtually since that was really only we could do at the time. And we've just been recording virtually for a while now.
Oh, yeah.
So it feels weird to be sitting in a room with you recording.
It's definitely different, but it adds to the experience. And weirdly enough, with, I think, just our relationship with each other, not totally different from talking over FaceTime, which is how we normally do it, but
no, I feel like, yeah, it's about the same.
Yep. Yep.
Minus
And
the toe strokes, maybe.
yeah, I had significantly less toe stroking when I was recording from my house. But you know what? It adds levels to the experience.
Texture, if you will.
Ooh, yeah, that too, I guess. Okay, yeah, no, how about your week? Did you have a nice St. Patrick's Day related week?
No, I pretty much just worked, so it was pretty plain. If I'm not gonna lie, my weekends have been crazy lately. It's like I feel like we've had like a shoot every weekend and like just a bunch of work stuff outside of my work hours, and it's
Busy.
been a bit nutso, but we're getting through. I have a lot of like very big deadlines coming up, which are giving me stress, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And yeah, did you at least wear green so that nobody had a reason to pinch you or anything?
I did, I wore my full green outfit, which you guys can see on Instagram with we've got a special Instagram post for you today.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
It's so good.
It's good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like as far as weeks go, same old. My life ain't that interesting anymore. Was it ever?
Who knows?
Who knows? But yes, so we are going to be doing a special St. Patrick's Day episode. We will both be sharing stories.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, with that, we can go into our wheel of questions first, and then
I'll start, and Emily will finish off with her 2 iconic stories, because both of our references come from her stories, the leprechauns and the bad Belfast bitches. But so we'll do our questions. Emily will do her description, which is also iconic from what I remember. And then I'll move into my story, and you go into yours.
Yeah, that is the plan.
Okay.
So with that, let us start by spinning our wheel of questions. Do you believe in leprechauns?
No. Still no. I said no 3 years ago, and I'm standing firm to that opinion.
I'm gonna say sure. Today I will.
Neat.
It's festive.
Festive.
For the holidays. Okay, next question. Do you know any leprechauns?
Only you.
I never said that I was a leprechaun. I just said I believe in them today.
I know you didn't say that, but I said it. So there you have it, folks.
I'm not that short.
You're just festive and green, and you got a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah, but nobody's allowed to know. Shh. All right, let's move on to our next question.
Well, do you know any leprechauns? You gonna leave us hanging here?
No, I don't, which sucks, because today I believe in them. But I don't know any.
Damn.
I'm very controversial today.
Truly. She's in a silly, goofy mood, guys. Her back is at, like, a 180-degree angle.
I've genuinely never been in so much pain. It's the worst. But we're gonna move on. Next question. What would you do with a pot of gold?
Well, I'd obviously be rich, so I would just fucking move the hell out of this province and go buy myself a plot of land somewhere in BC.
Yeah. The first thing I would do if I had a pot of gold would be to sell it for lots of money.
Yes, I mean...
And then, I don't know what I would do afterwards. Probably not tell anybody. See, that would be my thing, and it's nice to have money that people don't know about, I would imagine, for the being able to do whatever you want with it aspect of it, rather than having people be like, you should do this with it. Oh, you should do this with it. Why don't you try the stock market? So I would tell literally nobody. Or
the fact that people would probably be like knocking on your door. I mean, like, Emily, I need a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. And I truthfully don't have the patience for it. So I would sell it, tell nobody, and they'd be like, oh man, did you hear that somebody found the pot of gold? And I'd be like, wow, crazy.
That's wild. I wonder who. I bet they're lucky. And I bet they're happy with no one knowing.
Yeah, exactly. With a very, like, angry, suspicious gaze.
Exactly.
Right? All right, let's go on to our last question. What would you do if you met a leprechaun?
I'd be like, give me a gold, bitch, and get out of my face.
I would try to befriend him. I'd be like, you know what, man? Life's hard. It's hard enough at having people after your money all the time. You know what we should do? We should be best friends.
And you can give me that bag.
I'm gonna actually have a sugar leprechaun was my was my idea, but
I mean, it's an idea for sure.
hey, it's a good idea. Imagine having a leprechaun that nobody can see unless they want to be seen, and they're super wealthy and they like you a lot, and they just finance you for no sugar.
That's the
just
dream.
Friendship.
Truly the dream.
See, sugar leprechaun. That's what I'm going with.
SugarCon.
Gooey stuff. And yeah, that's it for our wheel of questions. I can move into our description now if you're ready.
I'm so ready. Take her away, Em.
A leprechaun, Irish leprechaun, or luchpan, is a diminutive supernatural being in Irish folklore, classed by some as a type of solitary fairy. They are usually depicted as little bearded men wearing a coat and a hat who partake in mischief. In later times, they've been depicted as shoemakers who have a hidden pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Leprechaun-like creatures rarely appear in Irish mythology and only became prominent in later folklore.
Wow, that was such a good description, Emily. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I hope you enjoyed it.
I really did. Thank you.
Our listeners are going to be like, wow, I really hope they edited that out.
This is annoying.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, that is our description, though, of what a leprechaun is, since it's the spirit of the season.
Truly. And with that, I will commence my story. Do you remember what it's about?
No.
Well, good.
Well, when you tell me, I probably will. But as for right now, no.
All right, well, I'll just get right on into it then. Today, we're going to talk about Jackie Noble, and she was born in 1967. We honestly don't know a whole lot about her personal life, but eventually she got together and had a child with a man named Derek Benson, and they had a daughter named Kelly Noble. The two had lived together in a flat in Bellingham, Dublin for many years, and Derek was not a great husband. He regularly beat his partner and threatened to kill her if she left him.
Okay. I'm so tired of people and being dickheads.
Fucking men.
All of them. Okay.
Jackie and Derek were both allegedly big heroin users, and their relationship was quite tumultuous. Jackie had said that Derek had beaten her again and again and again over a 14-year period. He fractured her ribs, busted her eyes, repeatedly bashed her, sometimes in front of their neighbors and young daughter Kelly. Jackie had been treated in the hospital for injuries consistent with beatings, including fractured ribs and extensive bruising. She had also been raped on numerous occasions. Claire Kelly, who lived in an adjoining flat to Derek and Jackie, recalled the first time she met Jackie and noticed that her hand was badly swollen. Quote, Jackie said she did not get up to make Derek's breakfast that morning, and he hit her with a plank.
That's aggressive.
Yeah, that's not fucking awesome.
No, I forget things all the time. If I got hit for it every single time, I'd be toast by this point.
Literally same. Claire also recalled another incident when Jackie ran into her flat while being chased by Derek. Quote, Jackie had come out. He ran out after her into my bedroom. He was killing her. Claire had said that she and Jackie's sister Wendy saw Derek beating and kicking her when she was on the ground. He was beating her in front of us, and Claire later confirmed in court that Derek was both a drug user and drug dealer. Claire says that Derek was not liked in the area, and she said, I don't think that people liked him. They were more afraid of him. Claire said that Derek had a violent temper, and she became aware the last time he was in jail was assaulting a female police officer. According to Claire, Jackie had told her that Derek had assaulted her father as well. Jackie's late mother was also worried about her daughter and had asked Claire to keep an ear to the door. Jackie also made allegations towards Derek, saying that he had sexually abused their daughter, Kelly. In 1993, Kelly was assessed at St. Clair's Unit, Temple Street, which deals with suspected child abuse victims. She was 5 or 6 when the alleged abuse took place. In 1997, she secured a barring order against him, but he breached it. Jackie's sister and neighbor, Wendy Dalton, also gave evidence of having witnessed severe assaults by Derek onto Jackie. Another neighbor by the name of Garda Siand Maji said Derek attempted to knock Jackie down the stairs of the building after she arrested him for breaching the barring order. Around May of the year 2000, both Jackie's parents had passed away, and she was left an inheritance from them, and as such came into a sum of money and a house from her father. When Derek caught wind of this, he started to demand that Jackie give him a portion of that money. According to the neighbor Claire, Jackie could never leave Derek because he would not allow her to. He said, quote, "He'd kill her first."
Wow, so far this guy sounds just really fucking cool.
Yeah, totally. I love him.
What a dickhead. I hate him.
Mm-hmm. So, for obvious reasons, Jackie did not want to give Derek any of this money. So she took matters into her own hands because she probably felt like she'd been failed by the system at this point, you know, being
for sure.
continuously beat, potentially having her child sexually assaulted, you know, having her father assaulted by this man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, I can kind of understand why she might be feeling like she'd been let down.
Yep.
But what she does is not great. On Thursday, May 11th, 2000, Jackie met up with her and Derek's mutual acquaintance, Paul Hopkins. At this time, Paul was working as a doorman in a public house in Dromcordia, and Paul was not a fan of Derek either. He said that he had been bullied, threatened, and assaulted by Derek on numerous occasions over the 4 years they'd known each other. And Derek threatened his girlfriend, Lisa Morehouse, and their baby daughter, and said that he would burn them after he was finished with them. And he took that as a threat that he intended to rape his partner and their daughter.
Gross.
Mm-hmm. So Jackie explained her situation to Paul, and the two of them conspired a plan to kill Derek.
Fair.
They were done with this man. Jackie said that she would pay him $3,000 to $5,000 for the killing, and she gave him an advance of £200, the balance to be paid after the murder. Paul agreed and allegedly bought a sword from his brother for €50, some sleeping tablets, and a mobile phone. Paul gave Jackie the sleeping tablets and the phone, and it was agreed that she would go to the flat and drug Derek and then contact Paul by phone when the coast was clear. She would then leave and Paul would kill him. And on May 13th, 2000, this is what happened. Jackie fed Derek the sleeping tablets as he laid in bed recovering from a dentist appointment, and then she let Paul know the plan was a go. Paul showed up to their flat with a samurai sword and killed him.
Excuse me? A, honest to God samurai sword?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and honest to God samurai sword.
He truly was like, this is the Shindo period, or the Edo period, and I am a samurai, and it is my honor to defeat you, and just... This is a lot. Where did he even find one? Did he, rob a museum?
He bought it from his brother for €50.
That is ridiculous.
There's so many questions I have. Why a samurai sword?
As far as efficiency goes, not knocking the art of swords, but I feel like there are, significantly more efficient ways of doing somebody in, especially nowadays.
I would agree. So, This wasn't just a simple stab wound. The injuries that Paul inflicted to Derek were substantial. The attack allegedly lasted for hours and resulted in 25 stab wounds and 60 incised cuts on his body. And in...
Hang on, just to cap quickly here. You're telling me that in 4 hours he only managed to hit this guy 20 odd times with stab wounds and 60 odd times with like incision or like slice marks or something?
Yeah.
I feel like 4 hours is a long time. I don't understand what's happening here.
It's insane. I just, he made 7 stab wounds to his butt, and the sword went through the body completely from front to back.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Paul then set fire to the flat after he killed Derek, even though this was not part of the agreed plan that him and Jackie came up with.
Well, she probably wants her house. I would imagine. Also, she probably didn't agree on him using a samurai sword.
I you know what? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe she was like, yeah, sure, it sounds sweet.
She's like, you know what? I've never seen one before. This could be fun.
Could be cool. Murder and all.
Yes.
Their neighbor, Claire, said that she heard screams coming from the direction of Derek and Jackie's flat around 3 a.m. on the morning of the killing. She heard someone she believed was Derek say, "For God's sake," or "For fuck's sake." Claire said that she then saw smoke and fire coming from the flat. She phoned the emergency services and then also Jackie to tell her that the flat was on fire. Probably because she thinks that Jackie's the one being harmed in this situation, after all the abuse that she's seen him inflict onto her.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So emergency services arrived at the scene shortly after, and Derek's body was found covered in blood. The sword used to kill Derek was later found in a wardrobe of the house of a friend of Paul. Which also, I'm sorry, but that's such a rude thing to do to your friend. Hey, can I stash my murder samurai sword at your home?
My murder sword?
Unfriended.
My samurai sword that may or may not have killed a man. May I stash it at your house, please?
In your wardrobe, thank you very much.
That's a bad friend.
It is a bad friend. So both Paul and Jackie were arrested and tried for the planned killing of Derek. Counsel told the jury that if Jackie engaged Mr. Hopkins to kill her partner, Mr. Benson, she is equally responsible as the two acted in joint enterprise. Both Jackie and Paul pleaded not guilty to the murder of Derek, and the prosecution contended that Derek's violence was not a justification for murder. In releasing the jury, Mr. Justice Abbott exempted them from further service for 5 years. He refused to leave for a certificate to appeal on behalf of both accused. After 7 hours of deliberation at the Central Criminal Court, the jury of 7 men and 5 women returned a unanimous verdict of guilty of murder. Mr. Justice Abbott imposed a mandatory life sentence of imprisonment. A prison source said, quote, anytime there was anything about Jackie's life on TV, she would get really upset and would cry a lot in prison about it. She always found it very hard to watch anything about her, which I understand.
Fair enough.
She's probably dealing with a lot of PTSD.
I'd say so, yep.
So while in prison, Jackie became a grandmother, and she got clean off of heroin and became an aerobics instructor. And as a reward for her good behavior behind bars, Jackie was given temporary release and days out of prison. She's now working in Dublin and wants to just spend time with her family, and she's planning to write a book about her life and experiences. And for lifers like Jackie, her release comes only after a recommendation that is made by the parole board, which has to be signed off by the justice minister. So now that she's out and living her life, however, her daughter Kelly, not doing so great, and she's had a few run-ins with the law, which I'm sure you can imagine after the trauma she probably also endured.
Yep.
I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about one of Kelly's run-ins with the law. So on June 2nd, 2006, Kelly had gone to Pat's supermarket with her young son in a buggy to get groceries for her 2 children when she was approached by a woman named Emma McLaughlin, and according to Kelly, Emma busted her nose in the supermarket. Kelly then made a phone call to her friend and babysitter, Neema Cullen, and asked her to bring a knife down to the scene. So, shop worker Deborah Cantwell, who was serving at the counter that evening, said that she overheard Kelly on the phone asking her friend Neema for a blade. As she approached the counter, she said that Kelly told her, "I'm gonna slice her up." Neema was then seen arriving at the supermarket on CCTV, and she said that she took the kitchen knife from a wooden block at Kelly's house around the corner and carried it in a child's school bag to the scene along with Kelly's daughter. She then gave the bag to Kelly, who put it on the back of her young son's buggy, and Kelly initially claimed in her statement that it was Emma who had brought the knife to the scene, but later admitted phoning her friend and to bring the weapon down.
Right.
Kelly said that she had taken the knife from the school bag and put it up her sleeve. Outside, she had it behind her back when Emma went for me. She said that she heard Emma's younger sister, Shauna, telling her sister that she had a knife and to get away, but, quote, "she just went for me." She said, quote, "I said, 'keep away from me,' but then she just lunged at me and the knife stuck in her. She did not intend to kill Emma and just wanted her to run away." She said that she had been afraid she would get kicked in the head and told the police that it was self-defense big time. Emma collapsed on her stomach after the blade entered her chest, tracking 19.5 centimeters into her chest and lungs. And Shauna, Emma's sister, said that she saw Kelly pull the blade from her sister after. She literally pulled that shit right out.
Right.
And Shauna said this of the incident: "I seen Emma get stabbed. I seen Kelly stabbing Emma like that." She said that she had not seen the knife at first, but added, "When she took it out, it was full of blood, and I knew after she was stabbing Emma." Shauna, who was 18 at the time, denied her sister was frequently violent, but agreed that she had made a statement to the police in June 2005 describing how her sister had broken her jaw and knocked her unconscious in a row over a mobile phone. In the statement, she said that she feared at one stage her sister, who had been kicking her in the face, would kill her. When she regained consciousness, she was in the hospital and was told her brain was swollen and her jaw was broken. She had since withdrawn the statement, and before that incident, Emma was known to the police and that an allegation had been made that she had previously tried to attack Kelly with a hammer. Her school principal said that she had been diagnosed with ADHD, and the condition meant that she could erupt like a volcano before calming down. Emma's principal had written to the board of managers stating that the safety of the pupils and teachers could not be guaranteed while she was in attendance. Kelly was obviously arrested for murdering Emma in the parking lot of a grocery store. And during the trial, Emma's family said they felt like it was their daughter who was on trial and not Kelly, and complained the defense had created a smokescreen with their evidence. Emma's father, Thomas, told the defense that he would not describe his late daughter as troubled and said, quote, "Nothing can justify taking of any human life." A year later, in 2007, Kelly was convicted by unanimous verdict of her manslaughter and of producing a knife during the course of a fight or dispute in a manner likely to intimidate or inflict serious injury. The jury deliberated for just over 4.5 hours, over 2 days at the Central Criminal Court, and Kelly was also convicted. After serving her time for this crime and getting out of prison, she was charged several more times for things like trespassing and other petty crimes. And that is the end of my tale.
Holy. Yeah, I remembered literally none of that.
My favorite part is that Jackie became an aerobics instructor in prison.
Good for her, though. Honestly, Good for her. She's She's moved on from
Heroin and her.
from heroin and assassination plots with samurai swords to aerobics, which may not be a natural transition, but we're proud of her regardless.
Yeah, we love that for her.
Yeah. With that, should I head on over to my story?
Yes, I'm excited. I don't remember it that well, but I know the gist.
Yeah, so it's a gooder, I'll tell you what. So, with that. Small and mischievous. They're the green-clad little people who are synonymous with the Emerald Isle. The question a court prepared to wrestle with was whether calling your Irish neighbor a redacted leprechaun amounts to racial abuse. And Eliza Tucker, 18, faced a trial costing thousands after the alleged remark led to police action. However, common sense prevailed on Thursday when her lawyer, Louise McClonsky, herself of Irish ancestry, successfully argued that the prosecution was political correctness gone mad.
Ooh.
So, Miss Tucker was arrested after her neighbor, mother of 5, Eleanor Vince, who is Irish, claimed that the leprechaun comment was directed at her during the latest chapter of a long-running feud. After being questioned, the teenager was charged with racially aggravated harassment, an offense which carries up to 2 years imprisonment. When the case came before a judge at the Liverpool Crown Court, Miss McClonsky argued that her client should never have been prosecuted. Crown lawyer Michael Stephenson then conceded that describing somebody as a 17th century mythical being was not a straightforward racial insult.
And when Emily originally told me this story, she mispronounced leprechaun as leprechauns.
Pretty much every single time. I don't know what was wrong with me that day.
But it was iconic.
Oh, absolutely. So we're the leprechauns. So he admitted that Irish had put a lot of effort into marketing the leprechaun as a Irish symbol before concluding with a reference to the leprechaun's penchant for hoarding treasure. Mr. Stephenson said, "There is a small pot of gold to Miss McClonsky's rainbow. I formally offer no evidence." So, dismissing the case, Judge Bryn Holloway told Miss Tucker that he hoped she and her neighbor in Garson, Liverpool, could in the future live with a bit more tolerance towards each other. Miss Tucker had claimed that when the remark was made last June, it wasn't obviously this most recent June, but the last June of the year it was reported.
Yes.
She had simply been talking to her sister about leprechauns after seeing one featured in a film she'd been watching. The Crown Prosecution Team Service said Miss Tucker had then been prosecuted because she had also allegedly threatened to kick her pregnant neighbor's baby, quote-unquote, out of her stomach, and had previously been given a fixed penalty notice for harassment.
That's so fucking intense. Oh my god, there's no way they're gonna become more tolerant of each other.
Literally no. Like, get new neighbors at that point. It's not happening.
It's not gonna turn out good for anyone in that situation.
No. So, after the case, Miss Tucker, who is black, welcomed the decision and claimed her neighbor had made racial taunts towards her. "I can't believe she's playing the victim," she said. "She's called me things too, a black this and that." So, Miss Vince, however, who was originally from Belfast, said she was devastated that the case had been thrown out. She claimed her life had been made hell by Miss Tucker since she moved into the area a year ago. She said, "She has called me a Belfast bitch and told me to get back on the boat to Ireland."
Bad Belfast bitch.
Aren't we? We are all a little bit of a bad Belfast bitch, if I've learned anything.
You know what? In these last 3 years, I've learned that bad Belfast bitch equals iconic.
It's an iconic role to have in a person's life.
Something to aspire to, really.
Absolutely. So, calling me a leprechaun was the last straw. If I had called her an N-word, I would have been hauled in front of a court. And so, Last year, Northern Irish lorry driver Mike Forsyth was given a suspended jail term for calling a Welsh woman named Lorna Steele an English bitch. And that is the story of
the bad Belfast bitch.
The bad Belfast bitch, and also why calling your neighbor a leprechaun is not a racially motivated insult. But with that, I do also have a description of leprechauns, if you would like. It's just some fun facts about them if you'd like to hear them.
Oh, I would love. I remember when we used to do fun facts?
Yeah, I know.
Holy fuck.
It's been a hot minute.
For the people who haven't been listening since the beginning, we used to rotate. I would do a joke and Emily would do a fun fact.
And eventually we ran out. There's just only so many facts related to the stories that we tell.
There's only so many corny jokes. Maybe I can find one while you tell me your fun facts.
Okay, cool. So, to start, leprechauns are traditionally blamed for riding sheepdogs in the night, leaving them dirty and exhausted in the morning. The word leprechaun may originate from the Irish Gaelic for shoemaker, which is leith brochin. Leith brochin.
Brochin.
The only way to catch a leprechaun, or catch a troublesome leprechaun, is to fix your gaze upon it, rendering it unable to move. Michael Jackson, this tells you how old the article is, by the way. Michael Jackson reportedly wants to build a park in Ireland called Leprechaun Island. A leprechaun was reportedly spotted in the town of Alabama in 2006, sparking a modern-day gold rush.
Oh.
And Irish Gaelic is sometimes pejoratively called leprechaun language.
That feels a little,
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Right? I know. I was like, that's interesting. But, yeah. And that concludes my my insert into the leprechaun side of the holiday.
Well, we'll end this episode with a joke. Are you ready, Em?
I would love a joke.
What is a leprechaun's favorite type of music?
His favorite type of music. Is it, the Irish jig? I don't know.
It's sham rock and roll.
Yeah, I don't miss this.
Yeah, this is where we stop doing jokes.
Okay, that's a rough one. But yeah, I think that brings us basically to the end of the episode, though.
It does, and you can do our end credits now.
Amazing. So, if you liked today's episode, short and sweet as it may be, you can visit us on our website, which is www.wheelofcrime.com to check us out for more. And you can also email us, wheelofcrime@gmail.com if you'd like to send us in a story or anything of your own. If you would like to donate to the show, we have a Patreon, which is at Wheel of Crime on Patreon. If you would like to leave us a review because we're super freaking awesome, that would be on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen. And 5 stars would be amazing. It does help us at the end of the day. We also have social media that you can tune into, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Wheel of Crime.
And that is all for the episode today. We hope that you all had some awesome green bread and green beer and green clothes and whatever else.
And toes stroking and not smoking. And whatever it is that you might do for the holiday.
Devil's lettuce, who knows?
Hey, it is green.
It is green.
There you
go.
All right, and with that, we will see you again or feel your presence next week.
Yes, we'll be back next week with another new episode.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.